Good afternoon and welcome to another video. This video is going to be a review, an inbox review on Tamiya's Challenger 2, which is the British main battle tank. This is the desertized version. I'm not 100% sure whether Tamiya do any other version. I know that Trumpeter do a plain Challenger 2 version, but then they also do a desert version and a K4 Kosovo Bosnia version, both of which have this reactive armour on the sides. However, the Kosovo version doesn't have the sand skirts and comes with an optional dozer blade, which is quite cool. So when I was looking for this kit, I was weighing up the options. Cost is a big one. This kit retails for a bit over 40 quid in the UK. It's quite hard to get it below that once you get postage from a lot of online retailers. So, but the Trumpeter kit, you can usually get them for about £20. But this is arguably a better kit. Some of the details on the Trumpeter ones are not as good. The original Trumpeter one has a load of issues, ranging from rivet counter issues such as the fuel filler caps are in the wrong place and engine deck grills are 2mm too wrong, and seriously that was people's problem with it. But there is also big problems in the fact that the rubber on the road wheels was not even all the way around, so it was a moulding problem more than detail problems. So apparently they've adjusted that in their slightly newer desert and Kosovo versions. They've relined all those bits for the rivet counters who care, but they've also fixed the kind of glaring moulding issues as well. Anyway, that's not bad. Anyway, so I went for this. I got a good deal of it on eBay. So if you're wondering why I'm standing up, is because my camera, for some reason, when you put it into video mode on my phone, anyway, it automatically kind of zooms in a bit. So if I sit down, I end up about this close, and that's all you'll see. So I've got to stand up. And that's me standing right up with the camera up under my chin almost, and that's it, only just in frame. So it's quite a big box. Now, I was under the impression that this kit came with the original normal side skirts, not these sand ones and things. Having had a look through the kit, it appears that it actually doesn't. So there goes my idea of building it as a Batis vehicle, which don't have all this fancy armour. So I'm just going to build it as it is out of the box. It's quite cool anyway. So let's take a wee look here and take out the sun. There we go. So we've got the turret top. It's a good size. That's a hand over it. It's good size. Turret base, turret sides. Other bits and pieces. That's the elevation mechanism. I think that's the turret rear. Aerial bases and handles, and the mounting points for the swivel mechanism, elevation mechanism. Now, there's not any non-slip detail on here. The top, and I believe a lot of the hull as well on Challengers is rough. It's got an anti-slip paint on it. This is smooth, so I will be roughing that up. Rust2471, he showed a really good way of doing it, which is just you take a little panel at a time, you add some plastic cement, and the way, because that slightly melts the plastic, if you kind of agitate that gently with a stiff brush while it's wet, what you're effectively doing is chewing up the very top of the plastic, and it gives you a nice scale, rough effect. You could add sand. It's a bit messy, and I don't have fine enough sand to do it, because you'd really need fine sand, because you don't want it to look like it's actually covered in sand. You would want it to look like a rough paint texture more than anything. So that'll be getting done on there, and probably the top of the hull, if it has it on it. I believe it's got it around the front here. So here's the main hull, lots of moulded on details. I'm not entirely sure what all those circles are. They're not filler caps, because the filler caps are back here. So there may be mounting points, vents, something like that. Lots of engine grills here. Really nice kind of pneumatic arm detail here. Presumably that's the engine access hatch there. Water, coolant, and whatnot will probably be all in there. Lots of ejector pin marks on the inside, but that doesn't matter because it's on the inside. So we get rubber band tracks. They're huge, they're folded in half because they don't even fit in the box long enough. Apparently these are glueable, so you don't need to actually melt the studs through. And in fact, the studs are not actually long enough to go through the other side of the track to then melt them together. That's a good thing though. So they apparently glue with plastic glue. There's not a single bit of flash on these tracks. There's some very slight ejector marks on the inside, but that's fine because you'll not see them. A couple of the track pads have got very slight nicks or whatever, but that's fine because that's pretty realistic. I mean, they are just rubber blocks. They're going to take a battering and they do get replaced. So here we've got the rear of the hull. There's lots of gubbins goes on there, spare track, there's water cans, there's fuel drums, there's a telephone, towing eyes, all sorts of stuff goes in the back of there. We get 2 3/4 crew figures to go in the turret, a loader and a commander, so I might use them because they're quite cool. Gun system, the barrels. The barrel's quite long, it's not quite as long as I thought it would be, especially when you give it that little bit at the right hand side there beyond the recoil sleeve is actually inside. But the thermal jacket's really nicely moulded. The GPMG there, it's really nicely moulded as well. So yeah. Here we've got the road wheel sprues. Really nice bolt detail on the inside of the wheels there. Hubcaps, towing ropes. They're quite nicely moulded, so I'll probably not bother replacing them with wire, especially since they're already pre-moulded into the caps on the end there. Dry sprockets have got some good detail on them. We've got jerry cans, spare track links, the suspension arms. Just that. Lower hull is surprisingly narrow compared to the top hull, but I guess it doesn't need to be any wider than that, really. Slightly V-shaped, which is quite cool. Maybe more so pronounced at the front there. There you go. The suspension parts of the suspension are already moulded on, but that's okay. They're nicely moulded, like nice bolt detail and things. It's not going to focus, so that's okay. Clear parts, a couple of vision screens, sensor screens. There's water bottles here as well. They're quite cool, and even the goggles for the crew members are actually moulded in clear, which is pretty cool. They're nice and clear. And the last sprue contains the thermal exhaust cowls. That's there in the middle, those angular things. Fuel drums, side skirts moulded as one piece, well, then the separate piece at the back. Frontal, this is all the frontal armour here. Storage boxes, parts of the fuel drums, more towing eyes, like towing cable ends, travel lock for the gun, drive sprocket mounts, or idler wheels, I think they actually are for the front, because actually this one drives from the rear, so in fact no, that is. Anyway, the skirts are really nice, moulded as one piece, really nice fabric detail. The slight T shape you can see in the fabric, I believe, is a metal kind of metal reinforcement, stops them completely flapping around all over the place. Nice bolt detail and everything. It should paint up really nicely. What else do we get? Decals for 3 vehicles in Iraq, all Scottish Dragoon Guards ones, I believe, British vehicles obviously, so they look quite good. Don't know which one I'll do yet. Polycaps, bit of wire, screws, string for the tow cables, and some plastic card. Now the plastic card is for the ID panels. If you look on the front of the turret there's 2 white panels, you can see here. Now these come as part of the kit, but then these front ones are just, you have to cut to shape some plastic card, so I'll maybe leave that off. I don't know, I'm not entirely great at cutting out shapes, and the instructions, which are pretty good. So that's that. looks like a really good kit. It gets good reviews online, I believe. So from what I've read online, it gets some pretty good reviews. So I'm looking forward to building this. I will be doing a build log over on International Scale Modeler of this whenever I do get around to it. And I will also do build videos as well at the same time. So for those of you who are subscribers to me and you're not on International Scale Modeler, then you can follow the build update for this as well. So thank you for watching. Sorry this has been a little bit wrong. Hopefully it's been a good review, and leave any comments down below. Thanks very much. Bye now.